clustered together around the tunnel entrance to the ancient staff quarters, listening to the kilted tour guide tell a story of a previous employee who continued to work long after his shift was done. There were over 50 individuals in this particular group. There was a gathering of individuals who oohed and aahed as the narrative of the night watchman, who paces the grounds as he did in life, was recounted inside the cramped confines of the chamber. The room was very darkly lighted, with the harsh glare of fluorescent lights. At the Algonquin Resort in St. Andrews, there are so many ghosts that they have their very own tour, which lasts for an hour and takes place twice a day. On the 9th of July, 2023, Greg was the one who took the initiative to share the tales of the resort that had been overlooked and had made their way into the very foundation of the establishment. The night watchman was a security guard who was responsible for ensuring the safety of the hotel after the sun had set. He was a resident of the staff housing, and it is said that he died suddenly, unexpectedly while sleeping one night. Greg offered to turn out the lights in the subterranean tunnel and stated, "However, he did get up and he still roams the halls to these days as a ghost." Greg was referring to the fact that he was going to turn off the lights. You may tell he is close by if you hear the sound of keys jingling. The ghost walk at the Algonquin Resort is also an opportunity to explain the history of the resort, which has been located on the hill overlooking St. Andrews by the sea since the year 1889. The majority of the original structure was destroyed by fire on April 11, 1914, with the exception of the painter side, the kitchen wing, and the tower that was situated on the northwestern side of the main building. Additionally, a piano and the bell table were preserved after the fire, and both of these items are located in the lobby of the resort, or in close proximity to it. Greg disclosed to the audience that he would not take the risk of running into a burning building in order to rescue a piano. Nevertheless, the bellhop placed his life in danger in order to save some strings. As he continued his explanation that the piano plays by itself, Greg stated, "It's crazy, and this thing's pretty heavy." He said this while placing his hand on top of the piano. When guests who have spent the night in rooms 240 through 260 on the second floor check in with the concierge, they are informed that there is a piano playing in the restaurant. They come down in the night saying, "Hey, there's a piano playing, and can you please have them stop because we're trying to sleep?" Greg remembered. "If you could please have them stop playing?" Although we are certain that we are able to do it, the piano is locked. We are unable to engage in it. The resort was reopened in 1915 with its present form, which was a Tudor-style structure with a red roof. In addition to that, it became the location for marriages. And what kind of hotel would be considered complete if it did not include the specter of a bride who had been abandoned? A young woman who was about to marry a fisherman is the subject of one of these stories. He embarked on a voyage away from land the day before the wedding. The captive audience was informed by Greg that, "For all of you males, that is not a good thing to do a day before a wedding, because this gentleman did not return." It is unknown to us whether he was wandering aimlessly at sea or if he just deserted the ship because he did not want to return and marry this particular girl. Since it was only natural for the bride to feel upset over being abandoned at the altar, it is stated that she shed tears throughout the whole day and into the night of her wedding in room 473. Guests who were concerned about the young bride-to-be urged the staff to check on her, and the bellman discovered that she had passed away. Greg remarked, "They don't know if it was from a broken heart or suicide." He went on to say that each couple that spends the night in the room would argue and not agree on how pleasant their night's stay was, due to the fact that they are unable to determine the cause of death. There are at least 3 more ghosts that are supposed to occupy the rooms and hallways inside the Algonquin that was reconstructed in 1915. The night watchman is the only spirit that is reported to be there. As a result of the many outcomes that may occur during a wedding night, the tour advances to the next ghostly intruder on the premises. Greg escorted the party into the sub-basement of the resort, where he displayed photographs from the facility's history. Supposedly, one of them is keeping the spirit of a little kid called Ben hidden away. The bellhop, who was 19 years old at the time, supplied the following information. This little boy Ben is 3 years old, hanging out on the 4th floor in his room, throwing his red ball against the wall. Despite the fact that he was only 3 years old at the time, he raced after this ball and threw it the window. The unfortunate event that led to his death was that he fell out of the window and struck the ground. Reportedly, Ben is still present in the hotel, where he is reportedly playing games on the premises, by the pool, and in the hallways. In the event that visitors feel anything brushing against them or hear footsteps running around the corner of the floor, they will be able to determine whether or not the small child is around. And further former member of staff, similar to the night watchman, is hesitant to punch his final shift into the time clock. This individual is also a former employee. It is reported that there is a bellhop in the elevator on the main level who wears a beige coat and provides assistance to customers as well as recommendations for restaurants. Greg noted that, during his interactions with visitors, he often recommends that they visit this restaurant located on Water Street, or that they visit this location. It goes without saying that these establishments do not exist since he was employed a very long time ago.